good morning, and welcome to the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards 2022 with an emphasis on Rotaractors. My name is Sonia Phillip, as past President Giselle DRC would have mentioned, and I'd like to take some time to introduce my co-host, past District Rotaract Representative Evers.
Hi, good morning. Thank you very much, Sonia. For those who don't know, past district Rotaract representative, like Sonia said, and past chairperson of the Rotary Satellite Club of St. Lucia Sunset. So I'm here today to facilitate a few things and help Sonia however I can. I'm her second-hand man, if you will. So Sonia, right back over to you.
Yes. So to begin our morning's proceedings, I'd like to begin with our protocols. I would like to say good morning to District Governor Sonia Allen and to District Rotaract Representative Mario Boyce, to DGE Leslie Ramdani, and to DRRE Justin Swelt, DGN Brian Glasgow, DGND Debbie Rupchan, DRRND Rolinzo Her, our DRC and RYLA chair, although she doesn't like that term, Giselle Holder, our past district governors and past district Rotaract representatives, and all Rotarians, Rotaractors, and guests. Welcome to our morning's proceedings. It's great to have you all here this morning. Every time I look at the screen and I see DG Sonia, I get all excited. I'm like, oh, it's me. And then I'm thinking, oh, it's not. So I just want to welcome a special welcome to DG Sonia and DRR Mario. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'd like to hand over to Evers so that he can invite DR Mario to bring greetings.
Thank you again, Sonia. So obviously, I'm assuming everybody here would know DRR Mario. He's your leader on the field and so on and so forth. But I will say that I met Mario when he had just become a Rotaractor for Rotaract Club Barbados in 2016. I think I was DR at that time. And if anybody, and that's when he was in his early Rotaract days, if anybody had told me he's going to be a DRR one day, I'd be like, yeah, I can very much see that. So Mario is one of those people that clearly he was built for leadership and is showing this year, and it will continue to show. So with no further ado, I'd like to call on our district Rotaract representative, Mario Boyce.
Good morning, good morning. Thank you very much for that, Rotarian and past DRR Eva. And also like to thank your co-host, past DRR Sonia. Adopting all protocol already established. Wonderful good morning to the DG Sonia Allen, DRC, and RYLA chair. We could not pull this off without her. Giselle, good morning to all of the DGs in waiting, DGE Leslie, DG and Brian, my DRRs in waiting, DRRE Justin, DRRN Rolinzo, Rotaractors, Rotarians, and guests. Welcome to District 7030's RYLA. RYLA, or Rotary Youth Leadership Awards, is an amazing program that each and every Rotaractor should go through as many times as they possibly can. Each one is specifically tailored for the needs assessed for our communities and our Rotaractors in order to prepare them for the optimal chances of success within the Rotaract and Rotary families. It is a great session to get to network, to learn, and to build your Rotaract experience. I went through it in person my first time in 2017 in St. Kitts, and it helped to shape me into the Rotaractor I am and helped to push my club and my club members even further by sharing knowledge I gained there. So today I want you guys to take in everything you can, participate fully, turn on your cameras, have fun. Let's bring your Rotaract vibes back. This is it before we come to Barbados, June 23rd to June 27th. Just enjoy. And you get in what you put, you get out what you put in, sorry. So just enjoy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, DRR Mario. You really do get in what you get out, sorry, what you put in. And for me, I would have gotten so much out of Rotary. The first time I attended a district conference on behalf of my club, I met our now DG, Sonia Allen. And this lady was so impressive. She stood up and she spoke on some issues and so forth. And I was really, really impressed. And then I found out we have the same name and it's spelled the same. I was very excited by that. I don't know why, but just seeing somebody with the same spelling really does something for me deep inside. It really does. It really does. So I'd like to welcome our DG Sonia Allen this morning and ask her to bring greetings on behalf of the district and also to declare our RYLA 2022 open.
Good morning, everybody. Distinguished Rotary family this morning. What an absolute pleasure it is to be here with you. Sonia, I know how you feel when I hear somebody with my name pronounced that way, and then I know that it's spelt the same way. It's all love. So I am so happy. I think in January when I heard that the first RYLA was just quite by accident not on anymore, my heart sank. And then a wonderful team led by past President Nigel called and said, that's not going to happen. This is not happening under your DG watch, and leave it with me. And when Nigel came back and I heard that the fabulous, I mean, and you all know Rotaract is my heart. I say all the time, and I said that the other day in Tobago, that I think I'm going to be moving back to, I'm going to be a Rotaractor. And I got my Rotaract Tobago pin. So I am a Rotaractor for true. Then I heard that the Rotaract team were pulling it together, led by the awesome Giselle, Mario, Justin, team. And then we pulled in all kinds of former Rotaractors who are now Rotarians. And that just gave me great joy. So I want to say, thank you so much for being exceptional. Thank you to Rotaract District 7030 for really making me as the DG totally and completely pleased. I am the envy of my governor's class where my Rotaractors are concerned. They just do not understand how we can be as fabulous as we are. And I keep telling them all the time, my team just makes it possible. So for me, it's important that we as Rotarians recognize that our Rotaractors are the people of the Rotarians of the future. The Rotaractors are the ones who inspire me to make the steps every day. I feel a sense of pride when I meet with them, and it is moments like this, RYLA, Rotary Youth Leadership Awards, that makes everything come clear. Knowing that you're getting the best of training, both here and at the district. I congratulate the RYLA team here, the RYLA committee, but also all of you who have really stepped up to make this possible. I thank the DG, ENND, all the Rotarians who are giving up some Saturday morning to ensure that our Rotaractors are engaged. And I thank all of you Rotaractors for being here. It is my absolute pleasure at this point to declare RYLA 2022 open and ready for business. I look forward to the discussions later on and see you around. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, DG Sonia, and also DRR Mario for those inspiring words. We are really very, very hyped for the event. It is one that I do believe will impact all participants, all hosts, everyone, because we're sharing the information, and you're never too old to learn, you're never too experienced to learn, and we're very excited. I would like to kick things off this morning by just going through just a basic overview of the program. We are here basically from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. We have various sessions that will allow members to transfer from rooms to our links provided in the chat. It will all depend on the room that you would have registered for. We also do have our video competition as well as our Rota Challenge. So we look forward to participating in all of these activities. I hope everyone has brushed up on all their Rotaract trivia, because it's definitely, Rotary and Rotaract trivia is definitely going to be a part of the challenge. So I would now like to hand over, I jokingly said this morning, there's on this team and in this room, everyone has so many letters attached to their name. So I'd now like to hand you over to past DRR, past president, current AG, Julian, to introduce our keynote speaker for this morning.
Thank you very much. Chinua Allen is an investor and creative industry entrepreneur with more than 20 years of involvement and experience in the entertainment sector. His work focuses on project production and financial management towards the development and monetization of creative assets. He has produced concerts and festivals in Trinidad, Miami, New York, Toronto, Barbados, and Jamaica, including a leading Juve band, which he has produced for Trinidad and Tobago Carnival for the past 12 years. Most recently, he and his team have developed a live music space in St. James, Trinidad, named Songforge, where he is the managing director. Please join me as we warmly welcome our keynote speaker here today, Chinua Allen.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, and thank you to the Rotaract District 7030 for inviting me to spend some time with you guys this morning for your RYLA. I was really excited when I received the invitation. I'm really passionate about youth development, youth leadership. So thank you again for inviting me to participate. What I want to speak to you all about, what you heard about in my bio, you heard about my entrepreneurship and some of those activities. But really, all of that is focused around one keyword that I live every day by, that I know is something really special for all of you in Rotaract and in Rotary. And that keyword is service. So in service, what do I mean by that? I hope you guys can see the screen that I'm sharing. What do I mean by service? By service, it's an acronym. The first part of it means to be service-minded. And by being service-minded every day, it means that you live every day trying to fill a need within your community. So in whatever endeavor that you're part of, make sure that every single day you're working on developing your community, filling a need in your community, and really leaving a lasting impact on a daily basis. The I in service means to be innovative. And that means that you don't just talk about leaving an impact, you actually have to leave an impact, you have to be about it. Ideas are really only valuable after you implement them. So it's important not only to just have great ideas, but to have the action behind those ideas that will support the implementation and really support bringing that full value to people's everyday lives. The C stands for be creative. And innovation and creativity, they really go hand in hand. You can think about it as creativity is an idea, but innovation is an outcome. So you want to continuously think of new ideas and new ways of doing things, and then you want to support that creativity by being innovative and actually figuring out the ways to get those things done in a way that can leave a lasting impact on your community. And the E in service stands for be entrepreneurial. And being entrepreneurial means taking risk. You know, you don't get the full opportunity to make an impact unless you take some kind of risk. Everybody that is on the call this morning, they're taking a risk. You guys are taking a risk by being here, devoting your time to something that's really positive and really impactful. So be service-minded, be innovative, be creative, and be entrepreneurial. So I want to share a little bit about how I was able to do that in the activities that I'm involved in every day, and how I live service through my everyday life. So in my bio, you heard about an initiative that I've been leading for the past 3 years called SoundForge. SoundForge is a new media creation hub that's based in Port of Spain, St. James, Trinidad. And it's a space where we focus on providing all of the tools and the technical expertise that we need to provide to help creatives, content creators be commercially successful. Why are we doing this? So the first thing is that we felt that we wanted to find a space to support the orange economy, support the creative sector, support these creatives in taking their ideas, taking their crafts, bringing it to market, and being sustainable, being commercially successful. So that there was a need in the community, in the industry for that to happen. And so we are working on filling that need every day. So that's how we are in our entrepreneurship. We're being service-minded, really working with the community. Creativity and innovation. So we took this space that was otherwise was really basically a derelict building, and we transformed it, took our ideas, our creativity, came up with what we wanted to do, and then we put our energy behind it and transformed it into a usable space. And in a little bit, I'll share a couple of photographs and you can kind of see where we were and where we've come to. And then being entrepreneurial, I mean, it was a major risk for us to take, you know, all of our time and effort over the past 3 years. We opened the facility in June of 2019. And then in March of 2020, there was a pandemic, so we had to close. So we were only open for 9 months. And then we had to spend the past 2 years really trying to figure out how to keep the place going and how to continue to be in service to the community. We did that in a couple of ways. We took our office and we converted it into a studio space so that, you know, a lot of virtual events and activities started to come around, and we converted that office into a studio space so that we can offer it to the community so that they can have a low-cost space in order to do high-quality productions. And we focus all of our time on supporting creatives. It really, the past 2 years for us hasn't been about being highly profitable. It's been about making sure that the entire ecosystem within our industry can be able to survive and can be able to can be able to survive and they can be able to continue to have an impact. So we did that throughout the entire pandemic, and on Monday we're in a position where we can come back to market for the first time. So that's the key thing. It's all about service. It's all about living service every single day. Be service-minded, be innovative, be creative, and be entrepreneurial on a daily basis. So I'm just going to share with you guys a couple of pictures. You can see kind of where we came from. So that when we first came to the facility, this is what it looked like. It was essentially an abandoned building. It was being used just for, you know, storage of vehicles and a few things. So in our being in service to the community daily, we were able to, through our service, network with city officials to be able to develop a public-private partnership to bring this facility to market. So this is where we came from. as a facility. You can see what it looks like. It was, as I said, it was essentially, 15 years went unutilized, an abandoned space. So we took that space. There's another picture of kind of what we found there. And we brought it up to this point. You see, we're doing some loading of infrastructural equipment. And then this past carnival, we had a series of seated shows. And this is a picture of what we brought the space to over the course of the pandemic. So for the carnival season this past year, what we did, we worked with creatives that wanted to bring their ideas and their products to market. And we figured out a way to allow them to do that with a high quality production in order to make sure that they are commercially successful. The reason that I'm focusing on being in service is because when you fill a need in the community, you're really able to have longevity. And the more that you support the community is the more that the community is going to support you. The more that you're in service to the community is the more that they'll support you and be in service to you. And that's the key thing that I want to leave with this conference. I want to leave you with the service being the goal. So the goal for us is not to, yes, it's to be commercially successful, but it's to be commercially successful in a way that we continue to support our community every single day with everything that we do. Because for us, it's all about service. If we're not being in service to the community, we don't think that we're going to really be successful in the long run. So that, I think, brings to a close what my contribution is for your conference. Again, the key things: you want to be service-minded, you want to be innovative, you want to be creative, and you want to be entrepreneurial every single day. You want to live service.
I would like to say on behalf of District 7030, thank you so much, Chinua, for all of your information. We do have some questions that have come up. So AG Julian, could you moderate that for me?
No problem at all. We heading into the question segment. We want to encourage persons to place their questions via the chat. All right, so we will start with the questions. So we're inviting persons to drop their questions in the chat for us. Not seeing any questions just yet. All right, so this is the point where we want to ask persons to indicate your questions via the chat so that we can engage the facilitator here, giving us a very extensive background. Perhaps I can start you off, or just before I go into there, what would you say is your biggest challenge as an entrepreneur? Yes, Chinua?
I think, yeah, sorry, I was just considering your question. I think my biggest challenge is time. As an entrepreneur, a lot of people would have come to understand during the pandemic, as we were all working from home, that when you work from home, you work more. You might have always thought that, if you work from home, you get to take a lot more time off, but you end up, because you're at home, you end up doing more work. And sometimes you feel as though, as an entrepreneur, you feel as though there just aren't enough hours in the day to get everything done. So that, for me, during my journey, that has been the most challenging thing. How I treated with that is by building a team and by coming to understand that you can't achieve anything great all by yourself. You need to build a team. You need to develop that team, train them, and you need to delegate some of the responsibilities that you can. It's not everything that you need to do all on your own. So time for me has been the biggest challenge.
Someone in the creative sector, just an add-on, particularly navigating the pandemic, how were you able to zone in and to stay focused in terms of that, maximizing the creative side?
It was very difficult. It was really, really difficult. The first 6 months of the pandemic, we were basically in lockdown. So there wasn't anything going on. There were hardly any people on the street. And I took the first month to sleep because I realized that I'd been going so hard for the past decade that I was completely exhausted. So I slept for a month, and then I paid attention to what the market was saying. So there were a lot of musicians who were starting to do virtual stuff by Instagram Live and what have you. And I paid attention to what some of their feedback was about their experience and what they were trying to achieve. And then we found a way to use the tools that we already had available and to convert our space into something that was a lot more usable. Like I said, we had an office at the facility, and we just converted the office into a studio, into a space where creators could come and do recordings. We just used what we had, and everybody came and we painted the place ourselves and did a lot of the installation of stuff ourselves. And that's how we were able to make that happen. But in terms specifically about how we remain focused, again, I have to say that that's because of the team. Anytime that I felt a little overwhelmed, I was able to lean on one of my business partners, one of my team members, for them to give me that extra support, and vice versa. Anytime one of my partners was feeling a little stressed or a little overwhelmed, I was able to give them that support so that they could keep going. So that team bit is really important.
I trust that our participants are hearing the value in that aspect about the team in terms of being able to keep you going. All right, so we just want to remind persons that feel free to drop your questions in the chat. So the next question is, how difficult was it to get your innovation off the ground, as in that start?
Yeah, that was kind of several years in coming. Part of the community service work that I do are within communities in Port of Spain. And in doing that community service work, I was able to build a network within the city. And I didn't build the network with the intention of opening this facility, but there just happened. There was just a happy coincidence that I'd spent several years just doing this community work because, that's part of the life that I live. Idea and opportunity met, and I was able to lean on my network. And my network said, listen, you've been doing a lot of work supporting the community. We're going to support you in this endeavor. Like I said, I didn't spend all the time I spent doing the community work with a plan to do this. It just so happened that when the idea came up, I was able to get that support. And then again, in terms of, so that was the creativity bit, and then turning it into action, it came down to the team as well, so that we were able to say, okay, you do this part, I do this part, you do that part. And then we pull all of that together, and we were able, it's actually pretty exciting because today is April 2nd, and we acquired the space. Today is our anniversary. We acquired this space 3 years ago today, so that we were able to just turn it around with really solid teamwork and just keep on pushing.
All right, it's a good time to say happy anniversary on behalf of the entire team and family here.
Thank you.
Right. And we have another question again, just reminding people to drop your questions in the chat as we run through this Q&A before we continue. Did the community that you went to start up your project embrace you? So we want to get a sense. Any challenges you faced, or was it an immediate embracing? How was the experience, that startup in the community?
I think the embrace was pretty immediate. Like I said, the building had been underutilized for 15 years at least before we came there. So that at the first instance, people were just happy that something was happening with the space, and then with the space being uplifted, you got less undesirable activity happening there, because it was, essentially an abandoned building, and, it was dark. Anything, might have been happening there over the past 15 years. But from the time that we came into the space, we were able to uplift the space. And then in our development and in all of the activities that we do, we engage as many members of the immediate surroundings as possible. And that way, we get more buy-in from the community, more support. If they see something that's going wrong, they give us a call, you know, and we're able to you know, not just make it a space that people from outside of the community come in to be commercially successful, but we make sure that those in the surrounding community, that there's a space for them to benefit as well.
All right then, excellent. All right, so if there are no, this is the final call before we wrap this segment. So there's another one to drop in just before I wrap. So you talk about your team a lot, and in Rotary, you have to work in teams in every project that we do. How important is it for you having the right people around you as part of your team to ensure the job is done? And how do you motivate your team members to get the job done? So I know that's a double that question.
Yeah, having the right people is critical. And what I had to learn over the years is that you don't always get it right. You know, you have to spend time, you know, putting people in a position to fulfill a task. And you might find that, listen, this person isn't best suited for this task. Maybe I should shift them somewhere else on the next project. You know, so it's iterative, you know, in that sense, and you really have to dedicate the focus and time on figuring out where people can have the best impact and putting them in a position to have that impact. I don't know if that answers your question, or if you could remind me what the second part was.
Right, and the second part of it spoke about, and how do you motivate your team members to get the job? In other words, how do you keep them going after you have identified persons for the respective space, for the respective areas?
All right, so that this is not about, you know, this particular endeavor is not a voluntary organization. So there has to be a connection between compensation and opportunity for leadership and creativity. So that, you know, so basically as a private sector organization, you have to pay people enough so that money isn't an issue. And then you have to give them a space so that they can feel like they own a part of what's happening here, and they can really take leadership and ownership of that space. In the voluntary organizations that I'm a part of, there isn't any monetary compensation. So really, it's about making sure that people can feel as though they've made a valuable contribution and that they get out of the experience what they're looking for. Whether it's an opportunity to learn a new skill, it's an opportunity to lead, it's an opportunity to help. You just have to figure out what each person, because people come to voluntary organizations for different reasons and looking for different outcomes. So that you have to figure out for each individual, what is the outcome that they really desire, and as the leader, you have to provide them with an opportunity to realize their outcome and realize their fullest potential.
All right, so what you're speaking to is kind of zoning in on what may excite the individual themselves.
All right,
what may actually, well, again, just clarify.
No, I say, yeah, that's correct. That's exactly it. You know, like I said, everybody's coming, you know, with different backgrounds, different experiences, different hopes, dreams, and aspirations. And you have to really, as the person that is the leader, you have to, you know, dig deep with each individual and work out, you know, how can I bring value to this person's life? How can I enhance this person's experience and create a space and provide opportunities where they can do that and they could, you know, self-actualize.
Excellent. Well, I'm seeing now DRRE nodding his head, so that's a good indication of having answered the question. So thank you very much there again. At this point, we have certainly had the benefit of someone quite extensive in the creative industry. And let me hand over to our DRC, Giselle.
I love that. I love that, AG Julia. Another big up. I I don't consider myself a creative, but certainly it's always great to hear from those who are and who are able to use a very cliched word, pivot, and be able to make the most out of a situation. Chinua, we just want to thank you again for your time. I know it was a bit of a mad dash to get this together, but we really appreciate it. And one of the takeaways with using the virtual format is that this is beyond today, right? We actually get to share this with the rest of our district because we are recording and they're going to look at this on their own timing. So it's really great value add for our young persons, for them to get all the nuggets that you shared with them today. And we also just want to wish you continued success in your businesses and all that you do in terms of flying the flag of entrepreneurship so high. So thank you again, Chinua.
And thank you all once again for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, everyone, this morning. One of the things that I think coming out of this address that we just had, as a former Rotaractor and as a Rotarian, sometimes you tend to get a little frustrated when things don't go the right way. When we've put somebody in a post and they're just not, and we tend to get a little frustrated and be like, listen, sweetie, that pin weighing a little heavy on your collar. It might be time. It might be time to hand it in because you're not performing. But it could just be a case where we have a square peg in a round hole, and that person may just need to, as Giselle said, pivot into a new position where they can really add value to the club. And as presidents and as leaders, and anybody who is taking part in this youth leadership award, it's imperative for you to be able to see where someone can be successful and put them in that area. Yes, we want to train everyone. Yes, we want to make sure that everyone has a wide bank of knowledge, but we also want to ensure that people are performing at their best. And when people perform at their best, our clubs succeed, our district succeeds, and we make our district governor proud. And she can't be any prouder as it is right now, but we want to keep pushing the envelope. We want to keep that smile on her face and smiles on Dr. Mario and Dr. Justin and everyone who's coming into that position of leadership, whether it be your incoming president, your AG, anyone who has to look at your club and see the way that you're performing. Make sure that you have people who are adding value and they're in the right spot to do so. All right, so now it's time for us to really get our leadership on. The time has come for us to put everything that we're going to be learning today. We're going to learn some more in our breakout sessions, and we're going to put stuff into practice before the end of the day. So I need for you all to really take as much as you can from each and every session that you are volunteering for.